Welcome to Smutty Scriptures, the podcast where three best friends gather together to explore the holy texts of fantasy romance novels. I'm Head Priest Blue Cromwell, and I'm joined by my sisters in sin, Cuddlefish and Purple Space Cat, to tell you all about our thoughts on this episode's sacred text. This is going to be Den of Vipers. We have read 1 through 35. And
the end of 35. We
Does that
finished
mean-
chapter 35.
1 through 35 means you read 35, right? No?
1 through 35, yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
It just makes my brain happy to say the end of.
Okay. Then we
Just
have
leave
read
me
through
alone.
the 1 through the end of 35. I almost wanted to
Thank
say the
you.
1 through the end of 34 just to see what you do.
No! Why don't you love me anymore?
I do. It's just fun.
I thought we had something special.
Listen. But yeah, we have read through Den of Vipers. This has been a hot topic all over book talk, I would say. And we have some general thoughts. I'm not sure if anyone wants to start. I've already kind of prepped the gang that I have some opinions about it.
I think I want to just start off by prefacing.
Because you're the one that suggested it.
This
Yes.
was this was my pick.
And I love you.
And
I love you so much.
I just feel like you come into this book in the same way that you do with porn.
Right.
The plot is loose.
Mhm.
If there is one.
It's a loose plot. It's more about the sexual journey.
Mhm.
And and I know this book starts off really rough.
Sure. That's-
Really rough. And
that's-
it
yeah.
gets better-ish, sort of, somewhere around chapter 20.
You
It
just
takes
you
a
just have
while.
to take you have to take reality
Yeah.
and then just kind of like put it in a nice little neat ball and then put it in a shoebox and then put that shoebox under your bed.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because it lights your feminism on fire.
Mhm.
It lights your a lot of things on fire.
But
There's a lot of fire.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
just fire everywhere.
I don't know if this would be called a dark romance.
I think technically, yeah. It's
Because
gotta be.
when I looked it up, it wasn't labeled a dark romance, but it definitely toes the line if it's not.
It has to be. It is. I'm calling it now. It is. And I'm not against dark fantasy. Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Blue, we know that you love those walking red flags. I even sent you a TikTok the other day that was just some person freaking out like, oh my god, they're just outside and they see the red flag at the beach.
Right. And like the literal quote that you guys have on your channels for when I pop in is I've got a type and it's problematic. I want to say my qualms with this work of literature, this holy text, if you will, is not with the themes. It's not with the overall, I know that this isn't reality and I know that this book is just a fun little escape in fantasy. But when I tell you respectfully that this is quite possibly the worst thing I've ever read in my life, I need you to not take it personally. I actually read some Goodread reviews because at some point I just was like, how are people talking about this? Like what do they mean? And
They're just really, really horny.
yeah.
I was trying to find a softer word for it.
There
and
is
I was
none.
like,
We're
nope.
going right into it. I pulled this particular Goodreads review that I think really encapsulates my general impression of Den of Vipers. I'd like to read that for you now here. It goes, when I was in year 6, the day before my birthday, a bee stung me on my eyelid. The pain was agonizing, and my mom had to dig the stinger out of my inflamed, irritated eyelid while I cried. It was agony. And yet reading this book was nonetheless the single worst experience of my life. And when I saw... And this is a real review, by the way. I'm showing, I know our listeners can't see this, but just so everyone sees these, there's also God, I'm Not Your Strongest Soldier, which I related to.
I don't even know what that means, but that's funny.
I knew this book was garbage. I didn't know it was a landfill. That one made me laugh. It's just, listen, okay, before we get into anything else, and again, I don't have a problem with the themes. I don't have a problem with dark romance and that kind of thing. I actually have a lot of qualms with, one, this is an expensive book. I know a lot of listeners here will do things like Kindle Unlimited. I know...
It was free on Kindle.
Exactly. So you went about that route. I like to have a good physical book in my hand. And if I remember right, I spent $20 on this on sale. This is like an expensive paperback. Like you can buy an ACOTAR paperback for half the price.
The
not to
art is
compare them.
pretty.
That is true. I do like the art of it, actually. However, there are a ton of printing issues. There are a ton of grammatical little issues going on here that I hated. I actually, I was telling Purple about this one sentence that just, I couldn't stop myself. I bookmarked this sentence on page 17. This has to be like the first chapter total. Oh no, sorry, chapter 4 actually. So we're getting a little bit farther into it. And when I read this, let me read this out loud for my listeners who may or not be deciding to read this book for the first time. By the time the smell of sizzling meat wafts toward me, comma, I'm set up and ready, comma, so when Cook pushes through the door, comma, juggling 2 plates, comma, I almost fall on my knees and worship him. That is one sentence. That is
Listen,
one.
it's very complex literature.
That is one sentence, and you have the audacity of every 2 seconds adding some type of like punctuation. I actually had a lot of. I was surprised that for those of you who might not have a physical copy, I'm not sure if the Kindle version was like this, but every chapter starts off with a. The page is black with white ink, and then it switches to like standard text after that. I actually surprisingly didn't have any issues as far as certain pages being lighter or whatnot.
Well, I did.
Oh yeah,
I did.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Really
Well,
have
like
that.
parts of the page were lighter, so it would go like light to dark to light in the middle of the paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the reason why is because this is a self-published book.
Well, they should have published it better.
This
Well, get good, bitch.
This is a self-published book, kind of like Zodiac Academy. They didn't go through any of the like Bloomsburg kind of thing. This is where they just threw that shit up on Amazon.
The audacity to not pay for an editor and to sell this book to me on sale. This is not. I didn't buy this book at over $20 regular price. That was the sale price. To not even have this edited. There's like multiple moments where like the text is like running into each other, or it says there's one sentence here. I know I locked in it somewhere, but it literally just puts the same word twice. It says fucking something. But it's not for emphasis. It's not like a. You can tell it's just it's a straight up typo, and that's fine, right? I want to support authors. I want to engage in new literature. I want to see what Book Talk is talking about. I love the community aspect of this, but to me, it's just like, I mean, man, that's my general impression. Sorry.
Other than the publishing issues, let's talk about the story and the characters. The story being loose. Let's talk about the sex. If really, that's what we're getting into.
So, well, hold on before you get to this. I actually kind of like the plot.
What?
Okay, so
okay, go
hear
ahead.
me out.
Sorry, I shouldn't say that.
I am one of those people you never want to watch porn with because I absolutely need plot to my porn.
I do too. I need it as well.
I also never pay for porn.
Can't relate there, but I get it.
So whenever this has plot, like I'm like, yeah, sex, but like, who the fuck is betraying them? Like, I want to know.
Who in the triad is fucking this up?
And I'm like,
funny.
Who could it be? Who could it be? Is it a security guard? Is it a person we know? Is it a person we don't know? I want to know. I'm like, dude, I'm racking my brain too. No, not that kind of rack. Dude, okay, stop touching her rack. No.
Too late.
No, can we focus? I like the plot. Thank you. This has been my TED Talk.
I read a lot of fan fiction. I grew up on fan fiction. So the idea of this whole a woman is sold to a group of thing, that's very common, right? It's been done a million times before. Forced proximity, arranged marriages, whatever. All of these tropes have elements of this, right? But even just the idea of the selling aspect. It's in most, I would say, fan fiction. Not most, but a very large chunk. So for me, I was just like, there's only 1 or 2 examples, I feel like, out of thousands that really make me enjoy this story more in that element. But I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm so burnt out on that trope because of fan fiction that it's just like, not that it was really done super well. But yeah, just a little cliche.
I feel like the beginning kind of took off because they just kind of needed a reason for them to be together. They're like, okay, I don't know. They like do some stuff. Moving on.
Yeah.
And then like, okay, so now they're together. We're going to play with the pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, play with the like chess.
Yeah.
Well, checkers. porn. It's not that complicated.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
So they just kind of were like, I don't know. They like do stuff. Okay, so now that they're all together in one place,
Yeah.
they can't escape for reasons.
Yeah.
Just cuz.
Don't ask about that.
In the beginning, I made quite a few tags where I was just like, really, what the fuck, and then I was kind of like, no, I can't read it like that. I cannot read this like I read Akatar, like I read Zodiac Academy, like I read. I hate to say this, but real books. I'm sorry.
Covers my mouth in shock.
I can't.
I mean,
I can't read this like I read real books. I read this like I read porn.
Yeah. This is a safe space for all of our listeners. I'm sure there are going to be some of you that love Den of Vipers. And Cuddle, I don't know how you feel about it yet. I'm waiting to hear some opinions. I know we've come in very hot, very hot and heavy, so to speak, with our thoughts in general. But this is a safe space. This is a safe space to everyone, even though we are going a little hard on the book. If you loved it, this is by no means individuals, listeners, or Cuddle. We love you. We love you so much. It does not matter. It's just, we get a little heated about our books. Let's just say that.
I did not think, and I don't think that the writing is refined.
Sure.
But I'm able to overlook a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to look over grammatical errors for the most part. I mean, Zodiac Academy is the same way. I think anytime you self-publish, that happens. And I think that I've read enough of it at this point to just kind of be like, yeah, I kind of expect that to a certain level. And well, first of all, when I first read this, I didn't know, like I hadn't read Akatar, I don't think. And so I didn't know what, as Purple called it, real books were like.
I'm sorry.
So for me, it made me very upset in the beginning. It was very difficult to get through. And there were lots of times where I had to stop and I had to take a break because it just, especially in the beginning when it's very like rapey, it bothered me and it was really, really difficult. But I think oddly enough, Diesel is a character that I actually really like the character. And when he started kind of in his POV, kind of started to try to pull her out of her own head and like allow her to realize that she could work through her own trauma and that it's going to be okay, that she can be this version of herself. Like, it's not one that I identify with, obviously, because they're a bunch of criminals and murderers, but from her point of view, like living in this world and having her meet other people who went through trauma in that same, like maybe not necessarily the same fashion, but having people who understand her and being able to finally feel like she's found her safe space. I think that was pretty cool. Sex was awesome.
Sure.
Well, yeah. Some of it. Because Diesel's a lot. I don't fuck with that.
Yeah, we'll have to pick apart that scene a little bit.
That's not my scene. But I liked the other stuff. There were some parts that I liked like a lot. More than others. But I'm not mad at it. But I don't think that this is the same category as like Akatar. I just don't feel like that's even fair to judge them on the same scale. That's like trying to judge a middle school choir with like Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift. I just don't. That's like saying who do you like more, Taylor Swift or like Eminem? They're not even remotely close to this. They're completely different, and you can like them both, but that doesn't mean that because you like one, you don't like the other. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I probably feel a little bit less like, obviously, like looking at the plot, I'm not like, yes, this is a classic. This is literature that will stand the test of time. This is true art or something like that. I'm not like looking into it in that way, in that sense. But I also feel like, in a general sense, in the same way we as a culture judge movies and that kind of thing, often we have a rating system that's not dependent on genre, right? I mean, some people can look at it differently as an individual, but like if you're talking more like any movie rating website, any critic, whatever. It's all kind of the same spear, I guess I should say. So while I don't expect it to be groundbreaking, I don't expect it to alter the course of my life. I think that harsh criticism sometimes is the best way to improvement as well. I would say, like, looking at Goodreads and whatnot, because I genuinely was like, I don't understand, like, what are the kind of reviews looking like this? And they're split. I mean, there's some people who say they love it, and you get people who say they would rather drink their own piss than read it again. So there's a dichotomy here that exists that makes it, like, for most people, like a 3.5 as an average rating across people who are giving it 5s, which what do you mean, and then, you know, 1s, which I also feel like are too harsh. I feel like a 1's too harsh, a 5 is absolutely not. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Have you never read another book? 5 out of 5.
This is like a solid 3.25.
Yeah, I would probably give it a 2 out of 5. Personally,
I just went through all of my tags on Kindle, and if anybody else wants to read it on Kindle, I can tell you at about page 75 is where I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop fighting this. So up until page about 75, I was like, the fuck is this shit? The fuck is that shit? And they're like, wow, that was fast. I'm like, no shit, wonder why. But then about 75, I was like, okay. Nope, I'm here. All right. Yeah, you know what? It's probably fine.
Yeah.
So if you're going to start into this book, or, you know, you're having a hard time with it, I would stick through about 75 pages, see if that kind of gets better for you.
Yeah.
You really do have to kind of hang some stuff on a hook way over there to get through it. But once you do, I really do love some of the things in here. And some of this is fucking funny.
Sure.
Like they make jokes.
They do?
In the book, the author. And I was like, dude, that shit's funny. And I kind of felt a little old.
Wait,
because like they mentioned Ms. Congeniality. And I was like, oh my god, I forgot all about Sing. Solar plexus, instep, nose, groin. And I was like, oh my god, that makes me think about my child. Oh my god, my childhood. Ooh, that's weird. And then just the fact that the guy's name is Kenzo. My brain for like a good 100 pages was like, Kelso. And I'm like, no, this is not that 70s show. Kenzo, not Kelso. I had to autocorrect that in my brain.
Yeah, some of the characters are interesting. At least, I mean, of the boys, I love Diesel the most, for sure, no doubt. You know,
he's like golden retriever energy if you gave the golden retriever cocaine and a lighter.
Yeah, that's a good way to
cocaine and a lighter.
Oh my god,
yeah.
So that movie that's out, that Cocaine Bear, that's the sequel. Is the cocaine guard dog with a lighter.
Oh god, a franchise. Okay.
I mean, they did Sharknado. I mean, just saying. You know, hey, if you guys want me to be your big ideas person, give me a call. We'll make this into a whole thing.
Hit us up at the Smutty Scriptures podcast Instagram.
I did. I did make a little funny on page. What for me was 38. I was like, Kalena, is that you?
Oh.
I came back into the room. I scanned the space looking for anything I can use as a weapon. And then they grab a thing from the lamp from the table. And I was like,
she just likes Elena for real. That's funny.
Yeah, I thought that was fun. I was like, I see you reading books like I do.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm just going through here. I love the fact that she named her bat. I was reading and I was like, I want a cool named bat.
Yeah, I like that she named her bat. I thought it was funny. It was very Harley Quinn.
Yeah, Suicide Squad, Harley Quinn for sure.
I think their apartment is gorgeous. I think I want to make it in The Sims.
Hell yeah.
I have a hard time keeping track of where everything is.
You know, I was really surprised that they Because at first I was like, "What are we doing? Is this why is this a fantasy novel?" As soon as they introduced her with silver hair, I was like, what do you mean by that?"
I was confused at first. I was like, wait, are we human or are we
Or are we dancing?
Fae? I don't remember. I don't remember. Is this human or Fae?
Yeah, I had that same moment where I was like, "Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean silver?"
I just pictured her as like uber goth girl.
Yeah, I picture more like a rockabilly.
You can still be rock goth.
Yeah, but
Oh, she's supposed to be like punk rocker.
I mean, we love the silver hair, to be honest.
Agreed.
So, of the four gentlemen of our Wide Shoes novel, I know I mentioned earlier my favorite's Diesel, but what about you guys? You have like a favorite, maybe like a least favorite of the guys?
I think Ryder is probably my least favorite, but
Yeah.
I do like all of them in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
Although I would not ever want to have sex with Diesel.
Sure.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
Hard pass. Or Garrett, to be honest. I don't think I'd want that either. But I could do the other two. That would be fine. I like them all for different reasons.
Yeah, that's fair.
I
So
think
you-
she does too.
Yeah. Well, we love a Wide Shoes.
It's kind of weird because Diesel kind of gets to this place where he's almost empowering her pretty consistently throughout the book, which is
Mhm.
weird. Because it comes from a weird place, and I didn't really expect it, because out of all of them, I was like, oh, he's rapey. That none of them do that, and they say that repeatedly throughout the thing.
Yeah.
Where they like the fight, they like the struggle, but they don't. They need the consent, because otherwise it's just not fun.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, take that for what you will. It's a gray area, anyways.
Yeah, she was kidnapped. But there is a certain point to be said about the consent for sure. I will
I
say.
agree. I got a little spooked in the beginning whenever I thought that it was going to be rapey.
Mhm.
But I know you said to hang in there and that everything is consensual. So I kept reading and I was like, I mean, that's a really thin line.
It
but-
is.
Yeah.
But we're not crossing it technically. So
Yeah, and
What it
Diesel ends up being like one of the sweeter ones. I agree. I think in real life, would I personally like to have sex next to a dead body with a knife in my ass? Probably not. Like,
Yeah,
probably
no.
not on my list. And there are very few things that aren't on my list. So for you to find something new, K.A. Knight, congratulations. I was not on my list. But I do appreciate how sweet they are. The tattoo of them together, essentially the symbolism of the viper and the bird, and them always being sweet and very protective, and even though they start off so strong, I guess I would say, it's easy to forget about it, I guess, later on as it goes. For me.
What did you guys think of the restaurant scene?
I liked it. I didn't have any strong opinions on it. I was just like, cool, I've done it. There's a lot of these things here in this book that I feel are supposed to be for shock value. And I think it just kind of drives home. I'm really, really, really not vanilla.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yep, done that. Yep, done that. Yep, done that one too. Got close to doing that one.
Yeah.
Like the knife thing. Done that, except without the dead body.
Yeah. Well, everything except for the actual insertion of the handle. Been there. But like that's the
No,
part that I don't
that
like for
too.
me personally. I'm like, even if I trust you.
Never did the tattooing thing. I don't think that they allow that in the tattooing shops.
No.
No. No,
I don't know
suppose they
about
don't.
that one.
And I don't ever want anybody to tattoo me outside of the tattoo shop.
Yeah.
So I know that one, but not because it's too risque. Just that I value not getting an infection.
Fair.
They did. I have to say, I mark it while she was playing with him in the knife scene.
Mm-hmm.
He actually like disinfected the knife, and I was like, "Dear God, thank you."
Let's add
Because
that
it drives me crazy whenever
Yeah.
movies and books and stuff, and they just like they get their food and they're talking and they're like, oh my God, we have to do something, and then they just walk away and it doesn't show them putting it down or eating the food or anything else. I'm
Mhm.
just like, no.
Mm-hmm.
But like same kind of a principle. I'm always watching for stuff like that. My brain will always notice it. And I noticed that. I was like, thank God, because I was just going to be worrying the whole rest of the book. If she got a headache, I'd be like, AIDS. It's AIDS. There's a problem. It's a bloodborne pathogen.
Oh,
It's all because of the guy.
no. Yeah, that's fair. There's a little bit of attention to detail there. As far as the spicy scenes are concerned, there's a lot of detail there. I would have to agree with you though. As far as like a least favorite, I'm probably the least into Ryder personally. Just not my type in general. I'd say that was probably a little bit hard for me too. I don't really think even going into it like, okay, this is smut, I'm having a good time. The scenes themselves, like as far as when we get into smut, are good, but none of them particularly are my type, which is a little tough. But I would say Ryder's probably the least, followed by Kenzo, and then probably Garrett, and then Diesel on top, I would say.
Kenzo is my least.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's too. I do enjoy the fact that he provides aftercare. I do enjoy that. So I love that he got, like, they cuddle for a little bit and they have that support and that, connection. And then they part, and then he takes her up there and he hands her to the aftercare person, Kenzo, and then he goes and takes care of himself. And I love that she gets the aftercare and that attention was still paid, but his version of aftercare and mine are not the same. And
Sure.
to me, that's like super overbearing and like, eh.
Yeah, like the bath
Like-
scene and everything.
I'm just like, ew, ick, don't touch me.
Yeah. I can see
So
that.
I love that it happened. It's just not my flavor. That's great. I really see he's my favorite. Now you guys hate him, but he's my favorite. Ryder. Yeah.
What
I don't
makes him your
hate
favorite?
Ryder.
Yeah, I don't hate him, but what makes him on top for you?
I'm a good girl.
Maybe that's why I like Garrett. He's like degradation king, so
He still degrades her, but he's
Yeah.
like, I'm just like, and I marked it several times. I'm like, Daddy, yes. Call me a good girl. I'll do anything you want.
Fair enough. He does. He's definitely that type, so I can see that for sure. See,
And that is me. She also mentions at one point, and I made a point to note it. He smelled like wood and mint.
Mint. Yes, that's
I
your
don't-
thing.
I
Really?
don't know what else needs to be said. Maybe if he smelled like Dr. Pepper, I don't know.
Oh
He
my
only
God.
wore purple suits.
He only wore purple.
oh my god, he's perfect. All he likes to watch is Bollywood movies. That's it.
Does he like foreign film? Reading books?
Checklist kept going.
Playing video games? So he is definitely my brand, but I don't think that there's any of them that I wouldn't sleep with.
Yeah.
Hmm.
In real life,
I would just need super hard boundaries.
yeah, it would have to be in a much different setting. For me, I don't think I would with any of them. I'd say Garrett would probably be the one if I was to go that route.
He's probably
But-
my second.
I kind of like Kenzo. The only reason, because Kenzo's also toward the bottom for me. For me, I really enjoyed the first sex scene with Kenzo, with the betting and the cards and the whatever. I liked that. I enjoyed how that whole scene played out in the sense of, like the setup, like the card game, like that kind of betting, gambling kind of thing. I thought that was fun. We're gonna go pretty deep into the smutty side of things, so sorry if this is way too explicit for our sensitive listeners' ears. But like I like a lot of like the CNC and like the tricked and like that kind of category in general, so that kind of fit into that. So it's like, ooh, I'm getting a little spicier, but yeah, in general, that's the one thing saving Kenzo probably from being like bottom tier for me.
What did you guys think about some of their stories? Like, you get Diesel's backstory.
Mhm.
Did that make you like the character more or less?
For me, it was just neutral, I guess. It didn't really sway me in any way, negatively or positively, just kind of neutral.
A part of me that is aware and real and studied psychology is like, do not have sex with any of them.
Yeah.
They need help.
Yeah.
They don't need pussy.
Yeah.
But the part that, hung all of that over in the corner was just like, he needs a blowjob.
You're the only one that can reach him through your magical pussy.
Hey,
Thank
if
God.
men can fix all of their problems with penises, why
You know
can't
what?
she fix all the problems with her vagina?
You right.
I am
Girl
right.
boss.
I also made a note of that in here.
Oh my God.
I did, though.
Fair enough.
I'm just going through here and looking at all of my notes because I made a heckin' many.
Fair enough. But yeah, for
I
me,
did
it
not
didn't do
dismiss
anything.
you.
It was just kind of, it was just kind of there. I mean, I'm interested in learning. We got a little bit because we read up to or to the end of 35, if you will. So we have a little bit of Garrett's backstory. We still don't really have like all of it. I guess that one's probably, since that's pretty much one of the last ones we have. I'm interested in it, I would say. But yeah. What about you, Cuddle?
I liked it.
It's a safe space. Go ahead.
I liked it.
Was there
Like
one
I
you
said,
liked
I
more
was
than others, or
I don't know. There was certain parts that I enjoyed. Rather, okay, it's more like to some degree, I feel like the author sort of understands certain things, which
Mhm.
was nice. Like when they were eating in the restaurant and she hadn't eaten all of her bread and she was having kind of like a meltdown, like, oh God, like, please don't be mad at me because I'm not finishing my food.
Mhm.
And Ryder gets up and he like takes her chin and he says, breathe. And then he eats it for her. So she doesn't have to have that.
Mhm.
Like that's such a small 3 sentence section. But for anybody who's actually like felt that moment and didn't have somebody there to help you in that way, like that's a lot. That's powerful for that kind of person or that kind of trauma. And
Mhm.
I think that there's several times where, like, look, the author is not that great at writing. I think we all understand that. I think it does sound like, a very vanilla version of a lot of more darker sex stuff. I think that it does. I don't disagree with anything that you guys are saying, but I do think that there are other redeeming things about it because I
Mhm.
think that when you can look past all those things, that there are pieces that shine through that some people can connect with.
Mhm.
That makes sense. Like
Yeah.
that piece was one of them.
Yeah, I loved the scene. Like Garrett's the first one to realize that she flinches with too
Yeah.
quick of movement and things like that. Yeah, I think there's a sweetness to say that these characters are completely nothing. Would be disingenuous. Are they becoming a little like maybe codependent at a certain point? Sure. Do these people need like actual therapy? Yes, but there are sweet moments. Like Garrett's multiple times is like in his chapter point of views. Like I love the fact that he purposely slows down his movements so she can see where he is before he touches her or like moves or whatever. And I appreciate that as well.
Well, even some whenever like we have their POVs and they have thoughts. I think this one is Diesel. And Diesel in chapter 18 says, I just once I want someone to match me, not to burn in my fire, but be reborn in it. And like again, I think the writing, whatever it is, what it is, but I don't think that's bad. And I think that that's like it helps understand him a little bit better and
Mm-hmm.
therefore not helps us overlook some of the shitty things that they do. No, but I don't know. I get it. It makes sense. Or another time when this is whenever their first in chapter 7 or 15, it's the end of chapter 15 in Diesel's point of view, he just showed her torture for the first time. And he says that I've pushed her a lot today, so I step back and I start talking. So he's even self-regulating, pushing her because obviously he says over and over again where he wants her to be, but
Mm-hmm.
he's recognizing that like, hey, this is a lot for her, so I have to take it at her pace. And again, it's yeah, they're all fucking crazy, but that's like I've never had a man say that about me. I've never had a man be like, "Oh, I should go at her pace," even if it's something as simple as like, whether or not I get stressed out going to the grocery store. And I like the fact that she several times, has like these female empowerment moments, whether they're from her own herself or they're brought on from the guys, like when they're walking in the strip club and, she kind of takes control and the guys are like, hell yeah, like, you go girl, but in like their own badass way, whatever. Like I thought that was pretty cool. And then whenever she's like not embarrassed of her body, like I wish I was like that. I think there are places that it's like littered, sprinkled in.
Yeah.
Where it's just kind of like, ooh, I like this, and ooh, I kind of like that. Where it makes everything seem a little bit more human, or it makes it seem more like what I wish life was really like. With some of the further you go, they just pay attention to her. And like just it's the simple things, like when Ryder went out to go get her clothes and they came back and they all were her style. If I sent my husband out to go get me a shirt, heaven help me whenever I get back.
Right.
And you just don't see a lot of that stuff all the time. And I'm not saying that there aren't other literary works that have characters that aren't the same or better. Yeah. But in this specific one, it's nice that it's there.
Yeah. I liked a lot of moments like that. The only thing that I didn't like I loved the confidence. I loved that she doesn't really shy away from her body being as it is. The only thing I don't like about that is when they switch to the male POVs and there's like always some lines about like, oh, she didn't have any of those surgeries or blah, 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 or this. And I was like, bro, don't put down women or anyone that decides to get procedures done. Don't do that. You can compliment Roxy's natural frame and her curves and her silver hair and her red lips even when she has no makeup on. Whatever. If you want to compliment her and say she's that's great. I think that's fine. I just wish some of the men didn't have that because I don't think it's intentional. I just feel like maybe the author, again, for me that's like one of those moments where there's good with the bad, right? Which is kind of like this whole book for me. Where I'm like, oh, cool, Roxy's confident, she's badass, and she does this, and she runs a business, and she does this. And then, like, the men in the story can be so misogynistic. And it's like, Roxy's not a better woman because she doesn't have, like, lip injections. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, maybe it's right. I feel like I read that in the Ryder chapter and something else, which probably also put me off on Ryder a little bit, but it could have been other characters, and I might just be misremembering.
There's at least 3 of them.
Yeah. So it's like, I feel like every dude in this has just about that same kind of, and it's kind of outwardly stated. And it's like, do we gotta do that? Do we gotta bring down how people choose to celebrate their bodies? What, like, do we? Do we? Do you have room to talk? Oh my God. So glad you don't have any, like, of these body altering surgeries. You have a dead body in your basement. Like, literally. Like, I don't want to fucking hear it. What do you mean by that? You're out here performing surgery. Heaven forbid someone go to an actual doctor, Diesel. Like, God damn it. You know what I mean? So I appreciated it, but it came with a lot of, like, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to think these characters have internalized misogyny. I don't think I'm supposed to think that. I think that, I mean, I'm not going to make an assumption because I don't know this author. I've never met them. I've never read their other work. But, that would be something I would work on internally if I was K.A. Knight. What do you think about that?
It did mark several lines in the book so far that I thought were just really raw and powerful. And I was just like, damn, for whoever's line it is, like, holy shit, you absolutely are owning that. Like in the beginning, whenever she's deciding to not be afraid of them, and in my book, it's page 38. She says, "Vipers, bitch, please. I bite too." Like, it's so simple and it's small, but it's defiant in its base form, and it was one of the most steadfast that she was at that point in her defiance of them.
Sure.
And I thought that was a really strong moment for her character. And on page 42, the line was, "We all bleed the same color, and we are all just searching for something to make the truth of our souls disappear so we feel like good people." I was like, oh.
Yeah, very relatable.
Oh, Okay, I feel like I had to walk away from that one. I was like, so, uh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a book you take breaks with.
Yeah.
I know I said it before, but on page 76, they said that she hit me again. That woman, she's a fucking hurricane. And I loved the imagery of her just being like, I don't know. I know it's a little weird, but I picture a kitten in a hurricane that's just like clawing at everything,
Yeah.
like in the living room. I don't know why, but that's what I did. And that being her, I thought the imagery was on point.
Yeah. I thought it was a little on the nose because isn't there an actual hurricane named Hurricane Roxanne? Isn't that a real thing?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
There's a quote on the internet. Somebody said that's like, I'll show you why they name storms after people.
And she took that literally.
Just like hold my beer.
Apparently. There's a line that says, I paint them with the destruction of my fist.
Yeah,
That's gotta be
on
Garrett.
Garrett.
Yeah.
On page 77. No. Yes, actually, yes, that is Garrett. I've mixed up Garrett and Diesel in my brain.
Oh, yeah, no, that's Garrett.
It's a very Garrett line.
Because he's talking about boxing.
Right. Well, just fighting.
Fighting.
I think it goes beyond boxing.
Well,
He's a boxer. You are what you eat, so.
what?
Oh, because
another
box
word for
is
pussy
another
is
word
box.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
So
he
if you're a box
he
muncher,
didn't
you'd
do
be
that yet, though.
well, not at this
I think
point.
he's the only one that hasn't.
No, he does. He does later. It's like brushed up. It's like brushed upon, but it's like in like the later chapters when he's like holding her with the chains or whatever.
But I thought that was another really vivid moment of her imagery.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see. I have a couple more. Diesel says, and they say we're scary. You should see you. It's fucking brilliant. I thought that was hella supportive, and I was like, yes,
Yeah.
King, thank you.
If there's one thing Diesel is, he gonna support Roxy no matter what she do.
yeah.
She could pretty much do anything in the world besides. I wouldn't even say hurt his brothers. She could do it, but she couldn't kill them. That would be the line. Everything else, fair game.
Like, I might love you. It might kill you, but like, it'd be worth it though.
Mm-hmm.
He says that a
He
couple
didn't lie
times,
to
and
her.
I'm like,
Yeah.
that's really good. I had to catch myself coming away from that and been like, yeah, no, that'd be probably worth it. You'd be like, no.
You sit back down.
Not you.
Like the
This is
TikTok
not meant for
trend.
you.
Like the TikTok trend when they're coming like, they ain't talking to you.
Yeah.
They're talking to
Sit
somebody
down.
else.
Take the leap. They're not talking to you.
Yes. The last one that I wrote down saying that it was a really strong and vivid line was on page 276 for me in the scripture. And it says, she's referring to herself as being the dead. She's like, but this dead? She conquered the Vipers, she survived Diesel, she won Kenzo, and she sure as fuck ordered Ryder around. He will be mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
Talking
like,
about Garrett.
yeah, you get the giant teddy bear.
Go get him.
who's currently high on cocaine. You get him.
Go get him.
You tell Paddington the bear he's got to calm the fuck down. I just thought that showed so much strength. And I love a strong woman.
Yeah.
So I feel like what it is like, we need to write this book better.
Yeah.
Because we like bits and pieces. I feel like it probably has like one or two good bones.
It's got some bones.
It's got good bones.
And no pun intended.
Speaking
Oh,
of
I
bones,
didn't even.
I hate. Okay, this is completely just because he said the word bones. I marked page 292, which is in chapter 30, because I was like, "What do you? Wait, what?" Not necessarily a writing choice, but I was just like, maybe this is an expression that I'm just like not familiar with. But it says she comes through more times, twice in my cock and one in my mouth. This is Garrett's, by the way, I think. By the time we're done, we are both boneless.
Yeah, because you feel like jelly.
Boneless? Like a boneless
Yeah.
chicken wing? That's how you feel right now? We're both boneless?
They're
Well,
just a couple chicken nuggets. Leave them
Like-
alone.
Like that is just such like a weird way. Like if you want to say yeah, or like my legs are shaking. Oh my god, I feel like I'm having an out of body experience. However you want to say that. How dare you say we are both boneless, bro? What do you fucking mean? I just imagine these two characters as like did this to become like muck. They just walk around. They're both boneless now. I'm like, bro, where'd they go?
that's like the vests, where she wears a
Yeah.
lot of vests, and I had to be like, what the fuck? Why would you walk around? And then I Google vest slang British, and then I was like,
Mhm.
oh, it's a fucking tank top.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry.
like you know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like a wife beater
She's-
tank top.
she's
And I was
a-
like, oh,
I think she's British.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
I
sick-
pretty much just thought it was like an actual vest, just with no shirt underneath, and I was like, "This is kind of like 2000s. This is cute."
I
Of you.
did for a while.
Yeah.
I was like, that is such a weird choice.
Yeah. So I'm glad it's a
And
tank top instead.
Probably about like the third or fourth time, I was like, okay, no, I can't. So this can't mean what I think it means.
Hmm.
And I Googled it, and I was like, no shit.
I'm glad
All
you
right.
did that research for us because I still would be
You're
thinking she
welcome.
was in like a fucking vest with no shirt underneath. And I was like, that's a look, okay.
You are so welcome.
But back to your point, Cuddle. Sorry to derail us completely. I agree. There's some good bones. I feel like people have compared this book a lot to The Four Horsemen, which I'm not familiar with the plot at all.
No.
But some people have compared it to that. So it wouldn't be impossible for us to find another wide choose. I love the wide choose genre. That would probably be a little bit more of what we like, less of what we don't.
I am a little mad at this book.
Yeah.
A little?
Okay.
Just a
Nope.
little.
That's not true. I am furious at this book.
Is it because they said they were boneless?
No.
Right. Me
I
either.
am furious about something that happened on page 311. Out of everything that has happened, okay, that's like toward the end of, our chapter readings.
Mhm.
After all of the sex they had, after everything they did, they only just laugh about the one I wanted them to do, which was fucking on a bed of money.
Yeah, they didn't actually go through with that, did they?
No, they didn't fucking do it. And I was like, no,
There's
the
still
one
time.
thing. You had one job.
There are 35 more
Rich
chapters.
people. Rich people and sex. You had one job. It was literally there staring you in the face.
Yeah. Did you guys speak? I was upset about that too. I was like, oh my god, okay, bougie. Okay, give me crime, gang,
would-
romance. Like, go ahead. But
It would pay so much money. Like,
enough to
I-
have sex on that pile of money.
that's how much money I would pay.
Yeah. What about the
I-
sex scenes
I
that
really
actually
do.
happened? What do you guys think? Like, do you have a favorite? Like, I mean, I know we have favorite parts in general as far as these actual character moments, but this is Smutty Scriptures. What about the smut? What's our favorite? What do we like? What do we not like?
I enjoyed that restaurant scene. I thought it was pretty hot when Kenzo made her lock eyes with each of the
Mm-hmm.
guys, and she just kind of was like, you know what? Fuck it. We're just gonna do the damn thing. And she let herself enjoy it. And
Yeah.
I really liked that.
Yeah, there's a power to letting yourself feel that.
I deleted it, but I had that marked as a scene. I've deleted almost like
A bunch of notes.
3/4 of my stuff as we've been going along. But I made a note and I was like, oh my God.
I can tell you when I first read the Diesel sex scene, like when they're actually having sex in the dungeon,
Right.
I was not okay.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it was very overwhelming. And, for someone like me, I was like, that goes where?
You're doing what now?
Ow. No, that hurts.
Yeah.
Stop it. And I learned something about myself that day. And that was that I don't fuck with knife play. And I believe I even texted you, Purple, and was just like, listen.
I remember
It's not
that.
a thing.
Mhm.
I can't do this.
Yeah.
That shit's
so that-
hot.
It's not for everybody.
That was
though.
the thing.
And I've done it, but not to that extent. I'm not. If you put a handle in me, I'm gonna take it out of my own coochie and stab you. Like, how fucking dare you? I hate that.
I thought writers. I always think writer scenes could go further.
Mm.
I just don't ever. I feel like
He
it
also
might-
thinks they could go further.
but I feel like they're just not. I feel like the author spent a lot of time on Diesel, and she
Yeah.
didn't spend enough time flushing out, like Ryder, for example.
Do you think that might be the author coloring the book with their own kinks?
Maybe.
Could be.
Maybe the author is super into knife play and not really a good girl.
Or maybe she's never done the other and doesn't know what it's like. So she was using her best imagination.
Could be. I think there's a subtleness to Ryder, though. Like, where, I mean, obviously Diesel does kind of steal each scene that he's in, if we're being honest. He demands a lot of attention.
That's the retriever
exactly.
on cocaine.
But there was actually parts, even though Ryder wasn't my favorite by any means, there were actually part of Ryder's stuff. Like, I enjoyed, like, I guess I consider him like a soft dom, you know? Like, he's very, I mean, he can be more aggressive, but, like, I enjoyed the scene of making her crawl to him across the floor. I think that's great. Personally, love that. Did I love the whole scene? It wasn't my favorite. I'd probably say my favorite was probably our first interaction with Garrett. Like, not the full-on...
The shower scene?
Yeah. Not because I particularly enjoyed the shower aspect, not because I particularly enjoyed anything about it. I was waiting for some type of, like, I prefer to watch or read more, like, I watch a lot of female POV, and I really enjoy when someone is performing fellatio in those contexts. So I think it's very hot to watch, it's very hot to read. I enjoy it. In general, though, that's something that I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I've read like a couple hundred pages and you're not going to give me a single fucking blowjob scene? Come on. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that kind of scene. I was like, okay, I'm ready. Any minute now. And it took like chapters. And I was like, oh my god. And then I got like one paragraph or two paragraphs. And I was like, fucking, god damn it. Bro, please? And then I didn't, like, we got a little bit of that with Ryder again, where he was like on the phone and she was doing her thing. And I have done that. But it doesn't, like, do anything for me. Like, reading it, like, I'm like, all right, we're going somewhere crazy. And then
living it, though.
Yeah, and then he's
I like
on
living
the phone. Yeah, that's more fun than, like, I don't know. I just, the whole, like, I don't know. I didn't like the fact he's, like, on the phone. He's, like, doing everything. I guess she's like, oh my god, I'm gonna see if you break. Hee 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 hee. But, like, that's not really what I'm reading those scenes for, personally. Again, listeners, maybe some of y'all are very about it, and that's fine. That's great. But for me, I was like, damn, just want one scene where we pay attention. It's described in detail. Like, why are you on the phone, bro, multiple times? Come on.
There's a lot of detail. And I will say I liked having more detail in the scenes than, say, like Akhtar or, God fucking forbid, all of the cut to black bullshit and fucking throwing a glass.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Yeah, I get it. It's nice to have a change of pace. And I want to keep reading more books like this as far as the podcast goes in general. I want to read. This is Smutty Scriptures. I want to read smut. But I just wish K.A. Knight did a little bit better by me. But that's just by me.
I really just wanted them to fuck on a bed of money.
Well...
They don't.
And I'm
there's 35
really
no,
upset.
Damn it. I was gonna say there's 35 more
They
chapters.
son of a bitch! They had one fucking job. God damn it!
Well, because then you gotta go to the bank, and then you gotta get all the money, and
like
then
a whole problem. Yeah.
It. Like, what do you do? How do you disinfect money? Like that large amount of money?
Listen.
Like, there's a lot
Hey,
of
There's
steps.
4 of them. One of them could have had the forethought.
We do not have to read the rest of the book, but I will tell you there's only one part that's of the rest of the book that's actually worth reading.
I think
Is
we
it the
should finish
plot?
it. No, it's not, and you know that.
Is it with the what?
Shut up! I want to know who the bad guy is.
Oh,
Who did the
Actually,
Triads
that's-
hire? Who betrayed them?
it actually is like important to a backstory. So if you're genuinely interested. Oh, I think I just broke my lighter. Oh no, I didn't.
Never
Okay.
allow that.
I
tiny
know.
taser?
You would immediately.
He would. Diesel would be so proud of me that I have this.
He would. I want to tell you, I actually Googled earlier and was on YouTube trying my hardest to find a soundbite of any English dude saying the words little bird.
Yeah.
And I couldn't fucking find it. I was
Yeah.
like, no, this is supposed to give me the feelings. And I'm like, I can barely keep in my brain what an English accent sounds like.
Yeah, that's funny. I
Let
wasn't
alone
reading it with
that
that, but that makes
phrase.
sense. You probably should, but I did
I
not
even
read it with
I
an
even
accent.
found the audio book.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in a lady's voice. And I was
Huh.
like, you missed such an opportunity.
Was it at least like a English accent on the lady?
No, she has some sort of an accent, but I don't think it's English.
Oh, interesting.
I was like, no, you're
sucks.
ruining my day right now, lady.
I gotta put it down. I almost tased myself.
Oh my god, Diesel would love that. You actually think that's
Diesel would love
great.
that. Do you think she'd tase me?
I will
It's
say,
so hot.
I'm waiting since this is a wide choose and we just got to the end of our like chapter 35. That like the whole Garrett and Diesel little moment, which was great. When are they all gonna fuck? There has to be an orgy in this book. If you're telling me all these characters do not fuck her at the same time, what do you mean? How? How do you not have that in this book?
I don't know,
I've done that
probably.
too.
I've just watched.
It's on. Okay, so from personal experience, it's too much going on. Brain can't focus, can't enjoy.
She can figure it out. All I'm saying is you have 4 guys, you have 3 holes to start with. Then you have
And you have hands.
You
Yeah.
have hands.
I mean,
Or you could have 2 in 1 hole.
You could.
Stretchy. Make it work.
It's like a little team up. You're
I
trying
don't
to tell
think
me
so.
that Roxy's never wanted to see Paris? Never wanted to see the Eiffel Tower?
Nice.
Come on, bro. I can't believe that doesn't.
Well, except no Kenzo and Ryder. I don't want them to kiss. They're legitimate brothers.
I mean, yeah, no, they can't be involved with each other, but I mean, they could both. I mean, just put them on the opposite ends. One in the
Like
mouth,
spit
one in the
roast,
ass.
I'm down, but like Eiffel Tower with the not the brothers.
Well, they don't kiss. They could just like high five or something.
I mean,
Yeah.
okay. You
Yeah.
can high five as the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe there is. I can't remember.
Well,
Oh, I thought you were saying I don't maybe I know what's going on right now.
No, I'm trying to remember. I feel like maybe there was, but then I feel like no, that they didn't do that.
I'm gonna be very disappointed if we get to the end of this book and there's not one like mass scene.
I feel like I would have remembered that.
I feel
Like a
like they're
lot?
really, really comfortable with each other's penises.
Especially Diesel.
And I don't, well, not, I mean, Diesel is Diesel. No, he doesn't count.
Yeah.
It's like the others, they're just like, yep, that's his dick.
Mm-hmm.
I have never met a man that's just like, yep, that's his penis. Why? I have met many men, and I've never met anybody with a penis that is that okay, unless they were gay. That was that okay.
Oh,
with
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, actually, yeah, there is.
Nice. I will also say though, as far as that being unrealistic, so is the idea that these men pay attention.
Yeah,
Oh my god, yes, because
Yeah.
when you read 2 minutes of like literally up to chapter 35, it's been a week, y'all. It's been a week of captivity.
Hey, they are falling in love with her. You leave them alone.
Quickly. But they're like, yeah, we already know your style. We already know like what size your bras and underwear are. We like they have it memorized. Like they're very like are you fucking kidding me? Show me any man who's ever understood what bra sizes are. The minute they ask how big your boobs are or your bra, like you throw a number out there, they're like, what the fuck does that mean? Like that.
I mean, I feel the same way about their pants, though. I have no
yeah.
idea what size pants my husband wears.
Yeah, I'll say I'm hoping for one group scene at least through the whole text, and for Purple's sake, I hope we figure out who betrayed them.
yeah.
I hope that we find that out for you.
I truly am interested in the book.
They will scatter along a little bit of crumb of plot around the smut, and that's
Actually,
all
the
you
back
got.
of the book is kind of plot heavy.
I can't tell if that'll be good or bad. I can't tell if I'm gonna be like, yay, story, or if I'm gonna be like, what, we ain't fucking anymore? What's going on?
Well,
I think there's probably going to be both.
Let me guess. Roxy
You would
gets
take your predictions.
kidnapped by another group, and they all fight to get her back, and then somehow they all arrange to they fuck after that. That's gonna be where the group orgy scene is after that. There's no fucking way she's gonna get her freedom. She's gonna walk around, do her thing. Somebody's gonna grab her ass. That's how they're gonna figure out the whole betrayal plot, and then they're gonna get her back to safety, and then they're all gonna fuck.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't listen to anything.
Tell me right now that's not the plot. Tell me right now that I didn't nail that.
So I believe that they have the group orgy thingy first.
Right. Okay. So I am 100% right in assuming that didn't happen.
She does. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's really going to solidify them as a group. I love that. I love that for us. I had the events out of order, but I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We're going to have to mark spoilers for the last half of the book for people reading along with us and be like, hey, or I'll find some creative cuts or something like that. But yeah, that's my prediction, at least, that we're going to get at least one more really fucked up diesel scene, probably. Cool. Love it. Might as well. That's about it that I have.
Is there ever slow, meaningful sex?
Well,
I feel like that's missing.
The only person you're probably going to get that from is Kenzo, so...
No, I feel like once you get past all the bullshit, you could get that from Garrett.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Because he even says at one point, whenever they're on the bed together having sex, that he wants to do that.
Yeah, but will he?
I think that we will get to dive into Garrett's past.
I think the closest thing we're getting to like slow, casual, like a making love type of scenario is just Garrett being the only one to not immediately slam his penis into her. He was the only one who was like, I'm bigger than the other guys, so I'm gonna go slow. Everyone else is like,
until she's
into
like,
her
no,
in
you're
one
not.
thrust, and she screamed, and I'm like, okay, all right, okay, this is fine.
I mean, that is
there's
pretty
foreplay.
typical.
Right, exactly. But I think that's the closest we'll get to cat or slow intimacy.
I didn't necessarily need it to be intimate. It could just be intense.
But not violent.
I mean, never mind.
So whose pick is it this round for Lay of the Day?
I think it needs to be your pick since you picked it.
That's a good. If we're not doing series, it makes more sense to do that way.
Shit.
And yes, listeners, we have gone from Bay of the Day in our lovely Throne of Glass novels and being very romantic and sweet to Lay of the Day to fit the tone of today's reading.
Well, if we're judging just based solely off of the sex scenes only, that counts immediately. Diesel's out for me.
That's fine.
I mean, fair. I don't think anybody's gonna get mad at you for that.
I think it's I think it's Kenzo. Kenzo's the Lay of the Day.
Really?
Yeah.
How sad for my vagina.
Yeah.
Listen, he's trying his best. They had a fun little date at the casino. I don't know. They're trying their best.
I mean, I did like the casino.
See?
It's just the rest of everything about him.
I even liked the hallway.
No, I did not like the hallway.
I
like his hair.
You
Oh my god.
you liked his hair.
Wow.
I like his hair. Yes, I do.
Nice.
Fair enough.
That'd be my pick.
Fair enough. Nothing wrong with Kenzo. I'm sure there's a lot of people that love him. And honestly, he's really not that bad.
I was going to say there's also an entire section of other books K.A. Knight has written since you love her so much.
That is absolutely not in my Kindle version, you jerks.
911. I have an emergency. Call an ambulance, but not for me. For K.A. Knight. We want to thank you guys for listening. This has been Smutty Scriptures reading Den of Vipers, 1 through the end of 35. One of our next episodes here, we're going to dive into the rest of the book. We still have another 35 chapters to go. As you've heard, we have some predictions, we have some thoughts, so we'll see where that goes. Want to give you guys a shout out for working so hard on the Instagram, by the way. It's a newer thing depending on when this episode comes out. We actually have a Smutty Scriptures podcast Instagram going on right now where you'll see some updates on our future projects and whatnot, which you may or may not have discovered this episode from one of those updates. But besides the point, these two, Cuddle and Purple Space Cat, have been working so hard on all of that, and I really appreciate it. We got our YouTube channel going for Smutty Scriptures. Appreciate the follows on there. We got our Instagram page now where we're still promoting Dual Minds Co. options as far as these designs that these two have worked on. A lot of Throne of Glass, a lot of Chrono Midnight, and even some Zodiac Academy designs now. So there's quite a variety there for you to check out. And again, I just want to thank you guys for being here. But church is adjourned. Amen.
Thank you. Amen.
Hallelujah.